Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to House of Joy. We are here today, and can I just start this out by saying I waited to say this till we were
Tell me
what
rolling.
you
think of my collar.
Yeah. It's given me so much stress. Like, the way that it's hitting. Mom is wearing, if you're not watching on YouTube, she's wearing one of those collars that actually gives me hives just looking at it. It's kind of like medieval royalty. Like, it's kind of like you were the king of a castle.
It's like, welcome to the House of Joy, where I am currently the reigning queen.
Anyway, every time I look at you, the puff, first of all, it's two of my least favorite items.
Puff sleeves.
Puff shoulders.
High ruffled collar.
Puff shoulder, high ruffled collar duo.
Your nervous system.
And your earrings don't stay in, so they're flapping up above the collar. It's basically my worst nightmare of a shirt, but it looks great.
Oh, that was just the laugh that I needed.
I
love this shirt too, because you're thinking like, oh my gosh, how is she sitting in that shirt? And I'm like, oh yes, today I get to wear my
You need
ruffled
like a gavel or like a you need something like a staff. I do. But anyway, come up on YouTube so you can feel the full glory of this collar. But that is not the point of our episode today.
Actually, we're not talking about clothing at all. We are talking about. I have a way to tie it together.
Okay.
So here's the thing. I love talking about thoughts. I talk about them often on here all the time. The power of your mind, the power of thoughts. But we've never really had an episode dedicated to this tool that I teach called the creation cycle. So we're going to talk about it today. But one of my colleagues, actually a couple of different of my colleagues, I have heard talk about shopping for thoughts like you shop for clothes and trying on thoughts. Like, oh,
how does this feel?
Let me try on this thought. How does this feel? And so, I
kind of does tie into your
It kind of does. So we're going to shop the thought closet today, you guys. And you might not want to pick out the high-collared, ruffled sleeve thought.
And that's okay.
But we're going to offer a lot of them to you. And the reason I think this is so powerful is because I've used this tool to totally change my life. And a lot of times when we're trying to make changes, which so many of you here are wanting to do because you're created in the image of God to grow, to create, to evolve. And so a lot of us are wanting to do this. And a lot of times we try to do it by willpower and brute strength. And that never really works well in the long run. So making change by first changing your thoughts is the best way to do it. And so we're going to talk about that today. I'm really excited to examine kind of all different sides of it. And
yeah, I think this is a great episode because by the way, we've been doing this podcast for 1.5 years, if you were wondering.
Just if you were wondering.
But over the course of the time we've been doing this podcast together, we mention or like some way I think we mention thoughts like probably every episode, but we are so used to speaking this language and talking in this way and thinking about our thoughts.
Thinking about our thoughts.
If you are someone who just clicked on our podcast because of this one episode, or you've not listened, or you're not in LMS, I'm sure most of you are in her program, Life Mentoring School. But if you're not, this is like one of those tools, and you're so gracious to be teaching this just for the public podcast because it's such a incredible tool. I feel like my friends that have gone through your program, life-changing tool, and you can build on it. Yeah. And I thought it would be really good for us to, and for you to really teach the basics.
Yeah.
So that if you've heard us talk about a creation cycle or examining your thoughts, this really breaks down like what we mean by that.
Yeah.
And how life-changing it can be, because this one tool, like, I mean, we even talked about it. Like, we don't necessarily do the creation cycle every day now, but once you really learn it, you do it in your head, or you can just see where you're at.
And yes, and maybe even more important is that even if you don't know the creation cycle, and we're going to teach it to you today really quickly, even if you don't know it, it's working in your life.
Whether you know it or not.
Whether you know it or not. You are creating your experience of your life, many of the results in your life. You're creating them with your thoughts first. So this is such a powerful thing to become aware of and to use, because a lot of what we're creating we don't like. A lot of what we're creating in our relationships. Like, think of everything in your life. Your relationships, the state of your home, your bank account, the satisfaction that you have with the job you have, with the spouse you have, like so many things. You are creating the results of that with your thinking, or you're very highly influencing that with your thinking. And when I say that, what I don't mean is that you're creating all of your circumstances. Of course, you're not. Life happens to everybody. But you get to always be control of how you react to those circumstances and what you create in your life given your unique set of circumstances. And you've all seen this, where you can have somebody who has a really terrible set of circumstances and somehow create an amazing, beautiful, fulfilling, meaningful life out of that. And you can take someone who has the best of circumstances and ends up, running their life down the drain. So it's obviously not the circumstances. It's what we do with it, what we create for ourselves, the experience that we create for ourselves. And this is something that it just shows up everywhere. So whether you acknowledge it or not, it's working
in your life. And you might as well have something to do with it.
Yeah. You might as well
on purpose
become aware and decide. And a lot of this, I had learned some tools like this when I was first learning coaching and doing coach training, but I always felt like, no, this is like steeped in scripture. And you can find many scriptures that talk about this. If you want to change your life, renew your mind, that you are what you think, that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he.
Take every thought captive.
Take every thought captive. There's so many scriptures. And so when I was figuring out like how I wanted to create this tool to use for myself, I didn't love some of the things about the way the other people were teaching it. I'm like, no, this is just like creation at work. This is just how we're creating our lives. And the reason that I decided to put it in a cycle is because I think it works in all directions. I don't think that just your thoughts create your feelings. So I'll tell you the cycle in a second. I think that your actions can also create feelings. So the way that I conceived of this tool is that imagine a circle. The top of the circle is your thoughts. And you have thoughts about a million things. And those thoughts can be influenced by your circumstances, but you and I could have the same set of circumstances, and I might have a different thought about it than you. Obviously, Em, when I put this shirt on today, I was jazzed. I was like, I love the days when I wear this shirt. I love this collar. I love the puffy sleeves. Emmy's first thought is that would choke me to death.
I have hives.
I have hives. Looking at that shirt.
And that thought creates a sense of I'm claustrophobic.
Exactly. And I'm over here in my own circumstances with this shirt going, oh my gosh, I hope this day never ends. I love wearing this shirt. So anyways, we can take the same set of circumstances. We can have a different thought about it. And that thought creates emotions. Okay? So again, Emmy thinks that shirt gives me hives. I can't believe she wears that shirt way up on her neck. And she's got these puffy sleeves. And her earrings are messing with the shirt. So you feel claustrophobic from that thought. I feel so excited that today's the day for the shirt to wear. And I'm like, let's do a podcast. What else can I do in this shirt? Hopefully I don't have to take it off. Let me make the most out of this day. And my experience of that is like really positive and powerful, right? So thoughts create feelings. Those emotions, those feelings, we can say to ourselves they don't matter, but they do matter. Because those emotions are the way you experience your life. Let me say that again. Those thoughts that create emotions, that emotional state that you're creating, that's the way you experience your life. So you could get irritated at someone else for something that they actually did, And you could stay irritated about that for a full day. But then you have to ask yourself, do I want my whole day to be ruined? Do I want to feel like this my whole day because of something this person did? And you can say yes or no. This is not for me to tell you what thoughts you should think. This is like a tool that helps you to go, oh,
is this actually how I want to feel?
What I want? Yeah.
Do I want to feel annoyed that you picked out that shirt all day?
Right. Or do you want to be like you'd normally choose, is to be amused and laugh and go, okay, mom, interesting choice.
Yeah. Actually doesn't affect me, but it seems like a silly example.
Yeah.
But it's really not that silly, because when we think about how we experience our days, usually it's because someone else made a decision that you think is wrong.
Yeah. They said something, they did something, they acted in a certain way.
And you take that and you have feelings about it, and it makes you feel a certain way, which can...
And you're convinced you feel that way because of them.
Yes, 100%. Because you wore the annoying shirt.
Because I wore the annoying shirt. But listen, I can't climb inside your body and make you feel anything. You are generating that from your own mind. Mm-hmm. And the great news about that is that you can change that. So then thoughts create feelings. Feelings drive action. So if you ask yourself, why do I have trouble following through? Why do I not eat what I say I want to eat? Why do I not go work out when I really want to? Why do I keep having the same overreaction to this situation when I clearly don't want to? The reason for that is because the emotional state that you're in is what's driving those actions. And if you don't learn how to be aware of that and take control of that and renew that and create it on purpose for yourself to create the experience of your life that you want, you will always go around thinking that your life could be great except for that coworker, that job, your spouse, the person on Facebook, the weather. Like literally, you guys, we will use any excuse to continue the same emotional state we're in. We get conditioned to it. We get used to it. We get in a loop of being irritated or frustrated or always blaming other people or whatever. And we will find every reason to keep the status quo. And what I want to challenge us to is to find a new level. Is this how you want to live your life? Is this how the best you would show up? Are you proud of yourself when you spend a day feeling this way? Does it feel satisfying and fulfilling or not? And if it doesn't, then you get to change it. And this is one of the most amazing qualities, I think, that God created in us. Yes, we have all kinds of circumstances we can't control, but he gave us this amazing, beautiful mind that we can renew, that we can decide on purpose what story we want to tell ourselves about that thing that happened. So that cycle, we normally talk about it going in that direction. Thoughts create feelings, create actions. But you tell me, Em, what happens when you get up in the morning and you just take the action of, you get ready for the gym, you go to the gym, you work out. What does that action that you took, what effect does that have on your emotions and your mindset?
Well, usually it makes me feel a lot more confident in myself, which usually I'm having the thought like if I wake up and just without overthinking it, make my bed every morning, have my protein coffee,
head on to the gym.
Like, what I do, what I say I'm going to do. And I did it this morning.
And so those actions, it then goes in reverse. So think about that circle. You can go to the right, thoughts create feelings, create actions, or you can go to the left, actions create feelings. That action of doing the thing is motivating. And then that helps you.
Feel good about yourself.
You feel good about yourself, and that reinforces like a positive thing.
Yes.
And so if you think about this cycle going in both directions, and you think to yourself, okay, there's an internal experience that I create, like an internal result, because when in either direction of the cycle, when I get in a positive cycle where I'm having an emotional state that motivates me, that I love, I'm taking actions that I love, that I want to take, that creates an internal experience of my life that's like, I love this life. This is very fulfilling. My life is meaningful. I'm doing things on purpose. Whereas if you're living in kind of a negative cycle, that creates also an internal experience. And then over time, what happens is repeatedly staying in a cycle, and we call this in my program, your true self. So repeatedly staying in a true self cycle where you see things the way God sees them, the way you've decided you want to agree with him to see them. You're creating an emotional state of gratitude or joy or peace or abundance or whatever, and you're taking action in your life that you want to take. Repeatedly doing that, your life starts to take shape into this life that you actually really, really love. You start creating results. You start getting things done. You start getting healthier. You start creating clients if you're, building a business. You start creating more connection in your relationships if that's what you're working on. You start getting stronger physically if that's what you're working on. So then it leads to these external results that you can over time go, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That I made that much change.
Yeah.
Starting off with renewing my mind.
I have a great example of this because it never really clicked for me until I realized how I don't validate my own feelings if they come from me.
Okay.
So let's say, because I'm sure this is a thought that, or an experience that some people wish they had. Let's say your boss came up to you once a week and was like praising the amount of work you did. You are so resilient and strong. You work so hard. We are so proud of you. Like, thank you so much.
Thank you so much
for all of the hard work that you put in.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people would be like, yeah, that would be amazing.
That'd be great.
Because if they did that,
then I would. Whatever.
I would feel so inspired, so capable.
Yep.
I would feel like very seen and very heard, and that would make me want to work harder.
Yep.
And I'll think even in a lot of workplaces, I remember feeling this way. Like, I would want to work harder if they would just acknowledge that I'm
working hard.
Working hard.
Right.
And it's funny because it would be so easy to accept that from someone else. Like, it's so easy to accept validation when it's coming from the people you want it to come from.
Yeah.
But so easily, like, you are able
to
tell yourself you work
I'm proud of
so
myself.
hard.
I did, yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. I am so capable.
Yep.
I have defeated so many odds.
Yep.
And if you really believe it and practice thinking like that, you're gonna feel really capable and really inspired and really resilient, and you're gonna take action. And I think about it in terms of like what I'm wanting to gain. Like, let's say I posted a reel. What would make me feel good is like people commenting.
They'd be like, oh, this was so inspiring.
This was so inspiring.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. Post more.
Yeah.
And from that, I'm like, I'm great at this. I feel like so uplifted, and I will post more. But like, I can create that experience for myself without even having posted. Yes. And I think it's such like it's so powerful to be able to create that for yourself and not need it from anyone else.
Yes.
The validation.
Yes. I think that's a really great example because that's kind of true for all of us in all our different walks of life, right? We say this in marriages. If my husband just did this, just showed more appreciation.
If my mom just said she like loved me more. Yes. If she just appreciated me more.
Yes. We say that kind of thing all the time. And the truth of the matter is, what if you did that thing? How could that change? Because you're not going to be able to control those other people.
You can never
and are you going to use that as
ever going to get.
You're never going to guarantee that you're going to get that. So then are you going to use that as an excuse not to live as your highest self, your best self, not to live out your full potential? Or do you want to learn to create those moments for yourself? Do you want to learn to create that? And then you can so enjoy when other people do it, but it's not like you're using that as an excuse not to grow, not to show up as your best, or whatever.
Yeah. And like, it can go the flip side. Let's say your boss never like gives you validation, never appreciates you. The thoughts you're probably thinking on a daily basis are, I wish that they would just appreciate me more. And so then you're working from that place of like not ever feeling validated, not ever feeling appreciated. Well, guess what? You're not going to work as hard as and if
then
you knew.
There's going to be less reason for
other
people to appreciate you.
Right. It is such a crazy cycle.
It is crazy.
And it's funny when you become aware, like, I mean, it literally says in the Bible, take every thought captive, because God knew that we would focus on everything we don't have, everything that's bad, everything that's wrong.
Yeah.
And that creates more wrong and more bad and a feeling that you don't have enough.
Yeah. And with every set of circumstances, there's the thing that happened, right? And there's the way your brain interprets it. So on autopilot, your brain is always going to interpret it negative, right? You get to interrupt that cycle and go, oh, this is where you become like an observer of your thoughts. So you are often the creator of them, but you also, thoughts can just come into your head and you're like, oh, I noticed that my brain keeps bringing this thought up, but I get to be the one to choose if that's what I'm going to focus on, if that's what I'm going to believe, if that's what I'm going to live from. And most of us are living with recycled thoughts that somebody gave us when we were younger, that we are not choosing on purpose, kind of living on autopilot. So ask yourself, are you living with the same thoughts you lived with a year ago? Are you having that same, because when people tell me they feel stuck, I'm like, yeah, you're probably stuck in the same thought cycles.
You've been thinking the same negative thing about yourself.
Negative thing for a long time, which causes the same negative emotions that are difficult to be with. So then we don't want to be with them. So then we go buffer. Don't think about the emotion or process the emotion because we don't like it. When in the end, we're the one creating it.
Yeah. No one can make you feel a certain way. And that's another thing. Like, I think we strive for external validation. And what you realize most is that doesn't even satisfy you if you're not.
If you're not aware of your thinking.
Right.
Because then you just become like, you become someone who's just always then seeking external validation, right? And then that never
let's
satisfies.
Say your mom never told you whatever.
Yeah.
Well, let's say she started doing it.
Yeah.
If you still believe that you aren't worthy of that, you're still gonna not think that that's true or invalidate what she said.
Yes.
It's all about how you think about yourself.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said at the beginning, it doesn't diminish real things that have happened in your life, and you shouldn't let it
And you also, let me just make this caveat too, because what I find is that when people are brand new in my program, they're like, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, people are usually offended. Like, what are you saying that my thoughts are creating my life? What are you saying that my thoughts...
is just...
No, he's just a jerk.
Yeah.
So usually people are a little bit offended, but then when they realize, like, no, the fact that you can make changes here, that you're the one in control of the experience of your life that you're creating, they realize there's a lot of power there. And so then what I find is that they'll go, oh, well, I can just pretend I have different thoughts. I can just, it's kind of like they're bypassing, sometimes I call this spiritual bypassing, where they're bypassing their feelings and just changing their thoughts.
It's a little bit fake it till you make it. It's a little bit,
yes. And I don't think that's the best way to go. I think you can acknowledge like, oh, you know what? For a long time, I've had this story that I'm not worthy, that I don't measure up, and that has caused this emotional state for me that's really hard. I think it's more healthy to be in that emotional state, acknowledge that you're in it, process through it. Yes. Oh, there's a part of me that has believed this. In my mind, I know it's a lie, but my body feels like it's true. So let me honor that, be with that, process through that, and then let me decide like, oh, I no longer want to live from that lie. So it's not what some people might call toxic positivity, where you're ignoring everything hard in your life and just going, it's kind of like you got your head in the clouds and going, nope, I'm good. Everything's okay. I'm good. Everything's okay. No, it's not
good.
that.
You're on the verge of tears.
Right.
I'm good. That's me right now.
Because listen, just in the last episode, you guys, I was on the verge of sobbing. Yeah. And I don't have to try to pretend like, you know, that isn't hard.
Yeah.
I can acknowledge myself. No, this feels hard. And I don't want to, because here's the other caveat. There are some thoughts we don't want to change. You know, you're getting married in less than 90 days, and my brain has a little bit of a freak out, like, oh, this is going to change things, and this is like a final, like, this is a separation and all of that. there's some of that that's true.
And there's
And that
no
I
reason
don't-
to make yourself wrong for feeling that way. Like, you
Right.
don't need to be like, nope, changing the thought. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
And I feel good.
No, I can acknowledge the part of me that's grieving that.
Yes.
And I can be with that part of me and acknowledge that part of me and allow for that grief and cry when I need to cry and process the grief. And then I can also go, yeah. And then there's this other part of me that knows, like, what a beautiful thing. And I'm so happy for you guys, all of that. So it's not toxic positivity, but it is a powerful reframe of your whole life. Because when you get good at doing this, you become so resilient. You learn to see things that you maybe once thought were challenges or obstacles as like, oh, I've gotten good at reframing a lot of things. Here's my next thing that feels hard to reframe. It feels like, no, this just feels like a hard, impossible situation. And we all have those.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we can just be where we are and be with ourselves and go, man, I recognize that there's part of this that I'm creating. And yet I feel like I'm not really ready to move on. Let me acknowledge that. Let me, be with myself in this hard thing. And also acknowledge that I just trust what God says, that if I want to change my life, I can renew my mind. It's not a have to. It's a you get to.
Yes.
You
I get to
know?
be in charge.
I get to be in charge of this. And if I'm not quite ready to let it go, there's probably a reason for that. There's probably emotions you haven't processed. There's probably things that you need to work through, but also recognizing that, no, I'm committed to working through it. I know that this is going to be good for me on the other side of this. And yeah, it just can be such a powerful tool. And a tool, I think, that helps us go from living so much in our false self, from our ego, to really living as our true self, acknowledging the things that are really hurtful or feel like loss or whatever. To me, it feels like instead of toxic positivity, it feels like you get to a real true place.
I love this tool. I think even more now what I love this tool for, now that I'm pretty good at like
Catching like some
myself.
of your negative thoughts. Yeah.
And Carrie really helped me with this, is like, it makes you so much more empathetic and compassionate for the people that used to really annoy you or really be the person that was creating your own experience.
Yeah.
Or like the thing you were using to create your own experience.
Yes.
Because then you just have this different perspective of what other people must be believing about themselves to be acting a certain way.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
now I can like have the knowledge that, oh, they're probably not, if they're acting like that, it's probably not from a thought that is serving. Like they are probably
Yes.
struggling with something and
Yes.
it actually has
And
nothing
that's
to
what's
do with
driving
me.
it.
That's what's driving them, not anything to do with me.
Yes.
So it's super freeing in that way.
Yeah. And the other thing that I will say about this is that especially when you're dealing with other people, I'm trying to think of this example, but I remember how I felt. There was something that Dad kept being worried about or kept bringing up. And gosh, I wish I could remember the specific example. But I remember at some point it dawned on me like, oh, well, let me be curious about what's underneath that.
Yes.
And it turns out it was like a little bit of a fear or like he wanted, it was something to do with our house in Minnesota. And he, at the bottom of it, his heart was like, I want this house to be done and to be beautiful for Tim and Savannah.
Yes. And it
You know
was
what I mean?
stemming from
Like
that place, and it
stemming
probably
from that.
came out as like,
Yeah,
getting a little annoyed or
right,
aggravated.
Right, or whatever. And I think when we can do that for ourselves, like, oh, at the root of it, here's what I'm afraid of, or here's why. Can be a little curious with ourselves. I think that can really help too, because usually if we can get to the true thing from our true self that's really underneath it, it's just something that needs a little bit of attention or a little bit of love, or just acknowledging like, oh, that was coming from a really good place.
Yeah.
You know?
It's such a powerful thing. And I think at the very root, like you talked about, it's biblical. It is living in the way of alignment with how God created us to be, how he sees us.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's how we are trying to get to a place where we see ourselves the way that God
we
sees
see
us.
ourselves and we see our life the way he does.
And that's not easy because we're human.
Yeah.
And our brain is literally programmed to keep us safe and get out all the things that we think are going to hurt us. But God says to us that, like, we are in his hands at all time. He doesn't want us to be afraid or fear other people. He doesn't want us to be thinking we're not enough. I mean, like, we're literally created in his image. So when you really get down to the root of why it makes you feel better is because your renewed thoughts align you more with how God views you.
Yes.
Which is really the ultimate goal, to be so confident in how you were created.
Yes.
And who you were created in the image by, that you don't overthink and you take your thoughts captive because you know they're not from him.
Yes. And then the thing of it that I think of too is, like, if you think of your own life and, you know, an example of something where you feel stuck or where you feel like, oh, I know that in this specific area, I'm not creating results that I love. You can ask yourself, what's the thought behind it? I have a training that I do, sometimes called the one sentence training. Probably lots of you have taken it, but it's like the power of one sentence. The Bible says there's so much power in the tongue. There's the power of life and death. So is the sentence you're saying to yourself about that part of your life bringing life or death? If you say to yourself, I never have any discipline, I'm never going to get healthy again, is that bringing you life? Is it making you stronger? Is it giving you joy? Is it bringing you to the place in your life where you want or not? And there's a lot of power in those sentences. So identify what it is for you. What's the thought? What's the sentence that you're thinking, believing, focusing on that's keeping you stuck in an area, that's keeping you from creating an experience of your life that you want? And how do you want to reframe that? The other thing that's really powerful that we teach is, like, so you do a cycle, a creation cycle, from the thought that you're having that you've not been aware of, your unintentional thought, your false self thought. Like, this is never going to work out. Things never work out for me. My best days are behind me. I'm not worthy. Everything always goes wrong for me. I used to have this thought when I was younger that my life was cursed. Like, imagine how devastating to a young person to think my life is cursed. And I would look for every example
curse,
of every
thing that is wrong.
Everything wrong. And you can find it if you're, if you're looking for it. And so think of where that is in your life and what's the emotional state that you're creating from that. And then what actions do you take when you think that? So if you took the example of, like, working out, I'm so undisciplined. That thought probably makes you feel defeated. And then what do? You don't go to the gym. You don't work out. You eat the cookies. You
already gave up on yourself.
You gave
from
up.
that thought.
Yeah. And if that's the thought you want to reframe, that's your unintentional creation cycle. That's your false self creation cycle. That's the cycle that God wouldn't want you staying in, right? Then what do you want the intentional one to be? The true self cycle to be? I'm getting healthy and strong. And I remember when I was working on my fitness, this was a thought that I practiced all the time. And when I practiced that, I felt motivated. I showed up to the gym. I drank my water. I took my supplements, and all of that. And so there's a lot of power in this. And we think, well, it's not that important. It's just one thought. No, you would be amazed at the power that one sentence can have in your life to kind of keep you stuck or to really give you so much freedom. So find your sentence and decide that you're going to do some creation cycles and you're going to figure out, like, how can I rewrite this? How can I reframe this? How can I renew my mind in this area? So powerful.
It will, if you let it. Like, it's one of those things where if you really on purpose start being more intentional about what you're thinking or what you're doing or how you feel, it will change your life.
Yes. I was thinking about this when we were headed to Utah because I was speaking at the Young Living Convention and I had some nerves about it. And I, like you would normally have, getting nervous. And I just kept bringing myself back to, like, this is such a powerful way that I can serve these people. This is an area, I was talking about hormones. So I thought to myself, this is an area that I love, that I'm passionate about, that
this is what I do.
The research that I've lived. And this is going to be such a great opportunity for me to share my heart and what I've learned about this with other people. And I kept bringing myself back to that instead of focusing on myself or focusing on what could go wrong or whatever. Helping myself stay kind of in the right mindset, thinking the right thoughts about it. So you can use it for big things, for little things. I love using thoughts and creation cycles to help me create more connection with people. So if there's somebody that you're feeling really disconnected from, practice your thoughts around that person. How would God have you think about them? Isn't that a person that he made also in his image that he loves? So then how can I think in a way like he would think, and use that kind of thinking to help transform, that connection that I feel or don't feel with other people. So lots of ways to use it. Practice it. We'd love to know on the House of Joy Instagram.
Please let us know
how you're practicing. And
we'll
practicing
keep every day.
We're practicing every day, you guys. All right. Well, I am so happy to have shared that episode and that tool with you, and I hope it blesses you. Yes. A few favorites before we head off, Em.
I want you to go because you had the ones that you didn't want to forget.
I have the ones that I didn't want to forget from last time. Okay, you guys, listen. I may have, in fact, I don't know this for sure because maybe I had a blizzard as a young person that I don't remember, but as an adult, I don't ever remember having a Dairy Queen blizzard.
Well, let me tell you a story. So we were in Minnesota, and it was me. I was craving a little sweet treat, and we were looking on DoorDash, as you do, and I was like, we could get a blizzard because it's a great mix of you've got the sweet things in there and ice cream.
Well, the ice cream.
It's one of those things where it's if you're going to DoorDash ice cream, it's one of those things that's not so bad because it's so
not
going to
totally melt.
It's not going to totally melt. And Mom
I was giving shade.
I don't think so. Whatever.
Do you like Dairy Queen?
Dairy Queen. What? Huh? So confused. And we were all just let's do it.
Just trust us. So, because Savannah loved Dairy Queen. She had a Dairy Queen phase. Everybody was, Dad was full for. They were all in favor. I'm like, this is not going to turn out well. Who wants to have Dairy Queen? You guys.
Guess what her favorite thing?
Guess what I'm craving since I got home. Yeah. So I got the mint. Is it mint chocolate?
The one you were wanting, I think
we
I
got
was
it
there.
when
you did?
We got it when you left.
Okay.
The mint chocolate.
Mint
Oreo. Mint Oreo to die for. We also got the cookie dough to die for. In other words, I have discovered that I do in fact like Dairy Queen blizzards.
The s'mores one is delish, so good. It was an experience.
It feels like a summertime splurge
for the
kind
family
of thing
because we just got a bunch of them.
Yeah,
and
we just
all
each
shared.
had bites. Yeah. So it was fun. The other thing that Emmy brought, not that you brought, but that you ordered while we were there that I had never had, is those True frozen raspberries with dark chocolate to die for. I actually ordered some. They're in my freezer
I
right
saw that
now.
and I was like, wow, I feel like I've really been telling you to try these for so long, but I'm glad you got there. I'm glad you finally got there because they are so good and they're so not that bad for you at all.
No.
You can have 4 of the raspberries and it's 90 calories.
They're so good.
So,
okay.
I was not prepared. Something I have been loving the last, I would say, it's been a while, is my hair in a clip. I'm trying to think, it's definitely a trend right now to have your hair in a clip.
Is it?
And it's what did we do before we were using these clips? I feel like it's in the last 6 months-ish. I mean, clips have been a thing, but...
We used to have, by the way, back in the day, banana clips.
Yeah, that's wild.
Do you know what that is?
The one that, jumps it. And it's just kind of
I wore them all the time.
It literally just clips it all into that waterfall type of thing. Oh, I hate that. Watch me say that in 2 years. It's
You'll be wearing banana clips.
Thing, but it's kind of confusing what we really did before, and maybe it's because I've lost a little weight in my face where I'm oh yeah, I can have my hair back and it's good. But
yesterday though, I will say you had your hair all down beachy waves. It was so cute.
Yes, one of my not favorite things is the hard water in Minnesota because it absolutely ruins my hair.
Uh-huh.
So coming back, I've been like, oh yes, my curls, like they're so much better here. And I've been trying to give my hair a little bit of a break because the wedding, I've been really frying it up here. And so.
Okay. I'm going to finish because we've been on a Minnesota kick. I'm going to finish with one more thing. Sydney's going to need to write this down. I, had, we remodeled our house in Minnesota.
Yes.
So I had to order some new furniture for there, and I am obsessed with it. I ordered these amazing Walmart swivel chairs that Tanner Bell told me about, which I am loving. I mean, now we're back home. I'm sure Savannah and Tim are still loving them. And that pink sofa, but all the furniture that I ordered from there, that when we were there, I was showing pictures that you guys asked me about. We are creating the links for that. So we will share those links in this episode. I'm obsessed with that chair. I'm actually thinking about ordering that chair for this
You
house.
are a Wayfair wizard. Like, you find things on Wayfair that I would never buy, never find. And it'll be so chic and, like, so high-end looking. And literally from Wayfair, which I guess some of their stuff is expensive anyway. But, yeah, I need to come have you find me a kitchen table.
On Wayfair. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we hope you have a great rest of your week and work on those creation cycles and let us know what you're creating. We love you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.